Ling Han has heard of the name Feng Yan many times. When he was at Seven Winds Mountains and encountered Feng Luo, that was the first time he had heard of Feng Yan, and the latter was very much revered by Li Hao and the others. After that, during the Yuan tournament, the name Feng Yan was frequently mentioned as well. That was the name of a genius who could make geniuses like Qi Yongye, Li Dongyue, and the others pale in comparison. After he had arrived at Huyang, Academy, he found out that this person's ability qualified him to rank within the top 10 strongest true disciples, and may even be qualified to challenge the only 3 core disciples of the Academy. Because of Feng Luo, there was no way he would be able to avoid coming into conflict with Feng Yan, and tonight they had finally met. Haha, no matter what time Brother Feng is here, I will definitely come to receive you, the third imperial prince said in a loud voice, laughing. Shoo! A figure suddenly shot into the side courtyard. The figure was a tall, slender young man with clearly shaped eyebrows and bright eyes. He had a head of thick, black locks, and it seemed as if there was a holy light enveloping his entire body, emanating a very pale light that would cause anyone who saw him to be enchanted by him. Ling Han's eyes suddenly narrowed. 7th layer of gushing spring tear. Before the new year, wasn't this man only in the 3rd layer of gushing spring tear? How could it be that he had suddenly broken through 4 whole layers in a mere 2 months' time? This was even more awesome than Ling Han himself. This guy must have gotten some kind of colossal, fateful encounter. Otherwise, who would be able to surpass Ling Han with the perfect combination of his alchemical pills to support his cultivation, his heaven-grade spirit base, and heaven-grade cultivation techniques in terms of cultivation speed. Feng Yan, a man that was widely known among the young generation of Rain Country, and someone that no one dared to underestimate. This man had a high chance to enter into spiritual pedestal tier one day and become one of the ultimate warriors of Rain Country. Brother Feng. The third imperial prince stood up and raised his clasped hands in Feng Yan's direction. Though he had a higher cultivation level than Ling Han, he did not have the divine sense that Ling Han had retained from his last life as an ultimate warrior of heaven tier. Additionally, he was quite far away from Feng Yan and so could not identify the latter's cultivation level. Moreover, who would observe another's cultivation level for no reason? Your Imperial Highness? Feng Yan too raised his clasped hands and swept his eyes over all those present, then said, I have come so boldly here tonight because firstly, I wish to greet your Imperial Highness, and secondly, I heard that the person who framed my younger brother and almost caused him to be expelled from the academy is also present here tonight. As he spoke his last words, his gaze stopped and focused on Ling Han. Obviously, he had recognized Ling Han. The third imperial prince was stunned at first, before a raging fire was lit inside his heart. Feng Yan was obviously here to seek vengeance. But the problem now was that this was a banquet that he was hosting, and Feng Yan actually came to make trouble. How much face was Feng Yan not giving him? Indeed, he looked very highly upon Feng Yan, but the latter was still a mere martial artist at the end of the day. Honestly speaking, Feng Yan's cultivation level was lower than his own, and what he looked highly upon was Feng Yan's future potential to become stronger. In terms of background, the Feng clan only had martial artists of gushing spring tier, and in terms of personal ability, Feng Yan was only in the 3rd layer of gushing spring tier. What right did Feng Yan have not to give him any face at all? In the heart of the 3rd imperial prince, Ling Han, who had 2 major bosses of alchemy behind him, was obviously far more important than Feng Yan, so he decided to fully support Ling Han without any hesitation. He said, Brother Feng, I was also present during that incident, and I can definitely guarantee that it was your brother who intended to frame Ling Han. Yet Ling Han frowned because he heard Feng Yan's words, almost caused him to be expelled from the academy. So, that meant that Feng Luo was still currently at the academy? What was going on? He wanted to deal with an old pervert, yet encountered trouble. Now, he wanted to kick Feng Luo out of the academy. And here comes Feng Yan, who used some kind of unknown means to pull Feng Luo back in. Heng, the academy has already investigated that it was the sole responsibility of Wei Hele. It was he who had stolen the badge that I lent to Feng Luo. Wei Hele has had a previous conflict with Ling Han, and so framed my brother, Feng Yan said darkly. How could he be so shameless? Everything was obviously planned by Feng Luo. Yet, why had he suddenly become the victim according to his brother? Right or wrong were so easily overturned by Feng Yan. Yet Ling Han was not the slightest bit angered. History was always written by the victors, and in this world, the real authority and valid argument was decided by the strength of one's fists. What he did not understand was how could Feng Yan be so fearless when he was only in the 7th layer of gushing spring tier? One had to know that even if Feng Yan stepped into spiritual ocean tier, he was still a subject of rain country and had not yet reached the level where he could break away from imperial authority. This would at least require spiritual pedestal tier. And if one was in flower blossoming tier, that was an existence that would stand out over all others. Feng Yan should definitely not be as idiotic as this. The 3rd Imperial Prince, too, never thought that Feng Yan would actually dare oppose him like this. The thoughts in his head whirred quickly. Could it be that Feng Yan had sought refuge from his eldest brother or his 7th brother, and that was why he did not fear him at all? But no matter how it was, a mere subject actually dared to talk back to him publicly. This was a challenge to his authority, and something he would not tolerate. Feng Yan, take care of your words. He withdrew his smile, and his face became completely serious as a faint, powerful air emanated from him. When a son of God raged, blood would flow over 10,000 miles. Though the 3rd Imperial Prince was not the emperor yet, he still had limited use of power of the nation, which could instantly place him in a very powerful position, as if he was an emperor, causing everyone to feel only respect and fear towards him. Your Imperial Highness, hand over this person to me, and I'll give you face and not kill him. Feng Yan did not show any signs of fear and even began to announce his conditions to the 3rd Imperial Prince. Silence fell over the whole area. Had Feng Yan lost his mind? That was the 3rd Imperial Prince, the most powerful person in Huyang Academy. His personal ability was more than enough to dominate over Feng Yan. What more that he was an Imperial Prince with monstrous power in his grasp. Even if the 3rd Imperial Prince was an expert in concealing his thoughts, hearing such words caused his face to twitch slightly, hinting at the powerful rage he was feeling. He took a deep breath and suppressed these emotions before saying calmly, "You are going a bit too far. Is your Imperial Highness not planning to surrender this person to me?" Feng Yan smiled a bit mockingly. "Could it be you dare to use force right in front of me?" The 3rd Imperial Prince asked coldly. He was now truly furious. Everyone has the responsibility to arrest a criminal. Is your Imperial Highness intending to shield such a criminal? Feng Yan strode forwards, really showing absolutely no fear of the 3rd Imperial Prince. "How dare you!" Xian leaped out and waved her hands. In each hand appeared a blue dagger, and she charged towards Feng Yan. Shua! 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 Blue light danced unhindered, forming a dance of daggers that filled the air as if there was a screen of light in front of their eyes. "Small tricks!" Feng Yan humphed and punched out with a fist. This punch from him was terrifyingly strong, as if a mountain was pressing down. He had just punched out, and Xian's face turned completely pale, her crimson hair dancing in all directions as if a hurricane had just passed by. Peng! This punch had not yet hit her, but Xian was already flung away by a powerful force. As she flew through the air, an arrow of blood followed her. This. Everyone was absolutely astonished at this. Feng Yan really dared to cause injury to someone. Had he gone crazy, or did he have some kind of incredible trump card hidden up his sleeve? Trash! The 3rd Imperial Prince humphed lowly. He was already very furious, and now one of his people was defeated with a single punch, causing him to lose control of his emotions and unable to help but spit out this word. Xian looked like she had suffered a harsh blow. Her figure gave a slight shudder, and she spat out another mouthful of blood. Yet Feng Yan only stared at Ling Han and exclaimed darkly, "You are indeed very bold."